Well, Harmony Gold has reported its second loss in 3 quarters after the price of gold came under, pressure in the past 3 months in the last 3 months of last year. Joining us in studio in Cape Town is Briggs, Chief Executive of Harmony. Graham, you're no doubt in Cape Town for the mining indaba. Will you have some good news to tell those thousands of foreign investors who come along?
Yeah, for sure, Alec. And just to tell you, I'm not coordinated with you guys. I'm emblazoned with Harmony colours. So, it's always a good conference to be at because there are a lot of overseas investors and a lot of investors having a look at what's happening in Africa, not only just South Africa. So there'll be a lot of communication with our investors.
Graham, in a nutshell, you managed the operation well in the last 3 months of last year, keeping costs under control, improving your production or having your production fairly stable. But it's really not good enough to be delivering losses. What are you doing to turn things around?
Yeah. Alec, if you look at sort of through the financials, you'll see that the big issue with the loss was actually a foreign exchange translation, 128 million. And that's because we have a dollar-denominated loan with the efforts that we're doing in PNG, particularly Wafi-Golpu. And so because we account in rands, of course, we have to use that foreign exchange. But if you take that out of the picture, it was actually a pretty good quarter. You're absolutely right. Every operation needs to work hard and make a profit, and that's what we're doing. We've had some good success with several of our operations. Even if you look at Hidden Valley, 3 quarters ago that was operating at over $2,000 an ounce. Last quarter at $1,600. This quarter it's just above $1,200. So we're having some great success on turning things around. We're now down to focusing on each of our operations, looking down to see where we can save money, where we can produce more, and really the ultimate focus is on getting all those operations below 400,000 Rand a kilogram. At today's coal price, somewhere around 445,000 Rand a kilogram.
Graham, it's Gugu here. What about the future prospects given the fact that the gold price may rise?
Gugu, it's obviously quite an interesting dynamics in what's happening in the world of gold. Just over a month ago, gold price in Rand terms was 400,000 Rand. A lot of people were saying, what happens if gold goes down to 1,100? I think if we sort of look at what's happening in the gold market in dollar terms, we've seen the bottom. It's hovering around somewhere between the 1,200 and 1,250 now. I don't think it's going to go down any further. I think there's probably upside. In Rand terms, it all depends on the exchange rates. It's been weakening of late, and therefore, it's dramatically different to our last quarter. Last quarter, we averaged 10.12, so 10 Rand 12 to the dollar, and now we're somewhere at 11.13 or so. So, it's fairly dynamic. We have to continue to plan slightly on the more conservative side in respect of gold price and exchange rate.
But the share price must be giving you sleepless nights, Graham. It was not too long ago at 120, nearly 120 Rand. It's now around about 30 Rand a share. Does that inform your decisions at all looking ahead?
Share price is very important, obviously, for all our shareholders. We have some major shareholders. About the top 20 shareholders own probably 75% of the company. What changes the share price day to day, of course, probably doesn't concern them overly, but those are the short traders in and out. But overall, we have to demonstrate added value for our shareholders, and certainly in the next 6 months, our intent is to pay dividends. That would indicate, obviously, that we're a profitable company, and we have continued to spend capital on our various projects, getting them into the right place financially. We've got several operations that are below $1,000 an ounce. The intent is to get all of them below 1,250, and even the ones where we've got a fair amount of capital. So it is a case of performing better, and that will improve the share price. However, there is a sentiment around the gold business really that has knocked not only our share price but a lot of company share prices.
Graham, what about the hidden value in your Papua New Guinea assets?
Yeah, it's, Golpu is simply a massive ore body. I was trying to demonstrate it this morning at our, at our quarterlies to just say how big this potential ore body is. We have really rethought about it. We actually appointed some engineers, Joburg-based engineering company, to do a lot of work for us, looking at underground access, looking at revising the capital in such a way that we have a modular, mine there, and it's got massive potential. It's one of those operations that's simply the biggest in the world, and so there's a lot of potential there, and I guess most people don't give us any value for it.
So there's huge potential in Golpu, the Hidden Valley operation also in Papua New Guinea. As you say, you're getting the costs under control there. At $1,200 an ounce, is that the base, or can you reduce it still further?
No, we need to reduce it further. I mean, 1,200, although the Papua New Guinean kina as well as the Australian dollar has weakened somewhat, we need to get it onto the safe side of where the gold price is now. So further reductions are in progress.
Graham, just as a forward-looking thought, you mentioned earlier your shareholders are considering a share price now which is, well, a third of where it was a couple of years ago. Are you able to market Harmony Gold to prospective shareholders as a value proposition?
Yeah, I guess it depends when, Alec, you enter into the Harmony shares. We've had several big investors buying Harmony at the current prices, sort of between the 24 and 32 Rand. So obviously those guys are looking much longer forward. They've got a longer time frame, if you like, than a lot of our short-term shareholders. So it's a case of, those shareholders certainly need to see better share prices, and we also want to pay dividends, and that will improve the situation. We have been, on this task for some time, developing new ore bodies and getting the grade up. We've now had 3 quarters where we've had increase in grades. I think if anyone sort of looks through the detail, they'll be surprised at the sort of increase in grade on quite a lot of our operations. And so we have very profitable operations. We've got a few operations which are on all-in sustaining costs not washing their faces. On a cash side, much better, of course.
Graham,
So,
just to jump in quickly, sorry, Graham.
On getting it.
Graham, we've kind of run out of time. Has there been much of an impact of the fact that Harmony dropped out of the ALSI 40 index?
I don't think so, Alec, no.
So you haven't seen shareholders being forced to sell as a consequence of that?
No, I haven't. Our share register has remained fairly constant, Alec.
Well, that was Graham Briggs, the Chief Executive of Harmony Gold.